Is it just me, or has everyone else's Instagram feed just been overloaded with high protein recipes for absolutely everything lately? Not gonna lie, some of them actually look pretty good, like this cheesecake from this chef whose name I can't pronounce, or this chocolate brownie from Matt Titty Boxel. It looks more like a mousse than a brownie to me. Regardless, it still looks like something I'd shove down my gob in 2 minutes. But no matter how hard they try, they'll just never be able to beat my high-protein sourdough bread, or these mud cookies that I made. Standard is just unbeatable. However, after doing my bit of daily doom scrolling, I decided to just give it another try. They say you should always shoot for the moon, because even if you fail, you'll still end up somewhere among the stars, I guess. But I'm not really in the mood to be disappointed today, so I decided to try and make my own homemade protein bars instead. The recipe I'm using says I only need 4 ingredients, which I love. The fewer ingredients, the better, because there's a higher chance I'll have them somewhere in the kitchen. You start off by adding half a cup of coconut flour to a bowl, and we're off to a great start, because I don't have coconut flour, but I found this tub of coconut flakes, and coconut flour is surely just the same as finely ground coconut. I have no idea how old this coconut is, since I don't remember ever buying it, but I'm just gonna assume it has an infinite shelf life for the sake of the recipe and see what happens. My grinder has a bit of coffee left in it, but I think it'll just enhance the chocolate flavor of the bars, so I'm not gonna try too hard to get it out. I'm gonna start off by grinding these chunks as much as I can until it turns into flour. I don't really know how much to grind up to get half a cup of flour. I don't have that much to begin with, so I'll just fill it up as much as I can and use all of it. Make sure to do a little dancey dance while you grind it up to not stress out the coconut. And voila. I don't know why it's so brown. It feels very hot and looks a bit sticky, but I don't think it's burnt, although I wouldn't put it past myself to burn coconut in a grinder. I'm gonna use this little stick thing to scrape it off the sides and hope that it just turns into more of a powdery form when I mix it. I'll try add it to the measuring cup to keep track of how much flour I end up with and hopefully not make too much of a mess. That made about this much flour, so we'll grind up the rest of the coconut and then we should have enough to continue with the recipe. This time it looks a lot whiter, so I think the color might just have been from the leftover coffee grounds I had in the grinder. I don't know why I wanted to put it in a measuring cup if I'm just gonna end up throwing it into the mixing bowl anyways. So I got a bowl out and I did a bit of cleanup before making more of a mess. Now we can finally add the first ingredient to the mixing bowl and give my grinder a little... 감사합니다. This flour or whatever it is really stuck in there. It's like a bit of a paste, but I managed to get it all out. Now I can just give a little shake and that's what it looks like so far. Next we need to add in 1.5 cups of protein powder. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a lot of protein powder. I know it's not for a single serving. This recipe says it serves about 12, but it still feels like a lot. I'm using this USN Hardcore Whey Giga Heavy all-in-one high protein powder complex in the flavor of peanut butter cup. I don't know what exactly makes this a hardcore whey protein, but I guess even gym bros need a bit of a confidence boost sometimes. The scoop that came with the powder doesn't tell me what its size is. Probably another confidence booster, so I'll just use my half a cup measure. Next we're gonna need 2 whole cups of peanut butter. 2 of these. I don't even know if I have that much on hand. Luckily I'm using unsweetened peanut butter since the protein powder is already insanely sweet. Otherwise these would be way too sweet for my taste. Next my ADHD decided we need a little break before struggling with the peanut butter. So instead of mixing everything together, I started lining the glass dish with baking paper. Now I don't know if I'm special or this packaging is just weird, but normally these boxes have like a little tab you can pull open and there's like a serrated edge to tear the paper off with. This just doesn't, so I guess I'm just gonna pull out the whole tube and cut it with scissors like a caveman. I don't know about you guys, but I can't believe that we're in 2025 and we don't have better alternatives to baking paper. Here's a bit of top quality ASMR for anyone who's into that. I always find it near impossible to line anything with this and not have it slide or pop out. It's the most annoying part of baking for me. Please just take a moment to appreciate the struggle to its full extent. Now that that's done, I'll take my superior mixing tool and give the flour and powder a good stir. It should look like this, I guess. When that's mixed well, we can start struggling with the peanut butter again. I'll grab a separate mixing bowl because I forgot I was already using one. And instead of measuring exactly 2 cups like a psychopath, I'll just use a spoon and eyeball it directly into the bowl. This is the peanut butter I'm using. Call me weird, but I just enjoy plain peanut butter a lot more because I can control the level of sweetness based on how exactly I want it. Now I can just flop this into the bowl effortlessly, as you can see, and not get peanut butter everywhere. A lot of you are gonna judge me for using my finger to scoop this off, but only my boyfriend and I are gonna be eating this, and I don't think we're concerned about cooties. I think this is finally close enough to 2 cups. It does look a little bit like since the recipe calls for an optional 2 cups of chocolate chips, I'll just add that in here while I'm drying my hands. Lastly, I'm gonna add about half a cup sticky sweetener.
What you making?
It's a surprise.
It's peanut butter.
You can't look.
And protein.
What do you think I'm making?
Whipped peanut butter.
Whipped peanut butter.
Or like peanut butter treats.
Close, but not.
Like peanut butter bars. That's
Potentially.
protein bar.
Protein
Sounds
bar.
like protein bar.
Nah, it's not a protein bar. Oh, what am I looking for? It wasn't me. I'm using honey and measuring with my heart. The recipe told me to melt the peanut butter, but my gut is telling me that if I put this in the microwave right now, it's going to do everything but melt. So I'm just gonna assume everything will incorporate naturally and hope for the best. This amount should be good. Now I'm just gonna beat this into submission for about 2 minutes until it looks something like this. Again, super appetizing. And then just add the protein mixture from earlier into the peanut butter and not dirty 2 bowls like I'm doing here. This has gotta be the driest mixture ever, but I'll just keep on mixing until everything is consistent. After about 5 minutes of beating, it looks like this. It's extremely crumbly and dry, which I guess could resemble some protein bars, but I'm not particularly a fan of eating wood shavings, so I'm gonna add a bit of water to help it out. And after 2 more minutes of beating, it now looks like this, which at least looks a bit more like something I can mold. This is the moment where I decided I want to make 2 separate batches, one for my boyfriend and one for me, because I kind of wanted cranberries in them. However, that means I need to redo the baking paper lining I did earlier and do it twice. Once the first battle is won, I can scoop this mass and just plop that on there. Then I'll squash it down into the container until it looks somewhat uniform. I'm laughing more at the of my spatula. It's like a that meme. Are you seeing the chicken thing?
You need to elaborate.
They have tongues, like pinchy things.
Oh yeah.
And they try and pick up chickens and like something like that. It's funny if you don't hear it from me because I'm interesting.
Mira vos, dame unas pinzas. Y me trajeron unas niñas. Unas niñas, me dieron unas niñas.
At this point, hysteria had kicked in, and my boyfriend got really concerned about what I was planning on feeding him. He decided my spatula wasn't the optimal tool for this job, and wanted to prove that it's okay for a woman not to be in the kitchen. It doesn't look that bad.
I mean, it doesn't look that good. Poop.
It's a protein bar, what do you expect?
Yeah, no, that's fair. We need to like pour chocolate over it.
Add stuff to it? We don't have chocolate, I have soy sauce.
Soy sauce would be great. We have eggs as well, extra protein.
I can just sprinkle some hydrolyzed collagen on it.
No ice cream.
I do have ice cream. I put some coffee beans in there, you know, extra fiber.
Yeah,
thank you.
Super crunchy.
Should I put this in the freezer?
What does the recipe say?
The freezer or the fridge? They say either or. Now that this thing is kind of flat, I can put the lid on and do the other one. I just cut some more baking paper, line the container.
There's a cat on the fridge.
Protein cat on the fridge? Or
It's dead though.
it is dead. It's just dead cat. Flatten the batter, and this is the aftermath. Lastly, I'll add some dried cranberries on top of this one. These are the cranberries I'm using. I probably wouldn't use this one again since it has added sugar and tends to be far too sweet for my liking. This is what it looks like with the cranberries. I think it looks pretty similar to a protein bar, so that's good. Now I'll just pop these in the freezer for a couple of minutes. Ignore the open bread on the counter, my boyfriend was making some toast. While waiting for the bars to harden, I captured this really cool looking cloud formation outside, and I just had to share it. That's so cool.
I'm more in it than you.
No, you're fine. You're just a bit wider than me, that's why. Okay, I have a knife. It's a sharp
Oh
one.
no. Watch it.
Which one am I cutting open first? Yours or mine?
Yours. Yours is more important.
No.
You made it.
More important.
No, you made it. So you...
We're both gonna taste it.
I'm gonna go pepper you water on your charger. Was it?
That's
Is it only
okay.
15 minutes?
Yeah. It's not chilled enough. There's no way.
Yeah. Does it say 15 minutes?
I asked Google how long I should. Hey Google, time 30 minutes.
Okay, 30 minutes. Starting now.
Sweet.
I really want to make fudge again.
Fudge was good. After about 15 minutes in the freezer, it wasn't set enough, so I put them back in for about an hour. They're finally set, so now I can cut them into smaller squares. Get out, yeah. Or if we do that.
Poop paper. Bruh.
How was the cranberry?
Why are you biting the knife?
Biting the knife, it was a cranberry.
I'm putting this away.
I mean, is it okay if I pick a piece up?
Yeah, you made it.
Like, it can maybe get a little bit more stiff, but I think if we leave it in the fridge overnight, it will. But like, that's a pretty good. Where's my camera? How do I focus? Focus on the protein. There we go. Like, it's not focused.
It just
It's-
looks like that. It just looks for
It's
low
just
resolution.
thick. Okay. And now we can do a taste test. I'd give it about a 6 out of 10. The taste isn't bad, but it's still very sweet. Let's see what my boyfriend thinks.
This smells like peanut butter and like a really strong protein powder. Ooh, interesting texture. Nice.
I don't like it, just a lot of nice.
It is nice. Do you dissolve the protein powder in anything?
No.
Protein powder is just unfortunately grainy.
And now for the cranberry one. I'd rate the cranberry one around an 8 out of 10. I really like how the cold cranberries taste like gummies, but it's still very sweet and I can't see myself eating more than one of these in a day because they're quite rich. The texture reminds me a bit of fudge, but a little bit drier. Overall, I'm pleasantly surprised with how these turned out. It was a bit of a trust the process kind of situation. Would I turn this into a weekly staple for us? Probably not. But it's quite easy to make if you have all the ingredients and want a little forearm workout. I'm gonna go put this back in the fridge and see you all next time when I'm bored again. Bye!